Hi, welcome to Beyond Borders Dilemma podcast. I am your host, Naomi Menu, and today our episode is called Culture Shock is Real. Because no matter how prepared you think you are, nothing truly prepares you for a life in a new country. We have heard from quite a number of people in the US about their culture shock. Today, I have someone who had her culture shock in Europe. At the end of this podcast, I want us to normalize culture shock by showing how it appears differently across countries while highlighting shared emotional experiences, academic pressure, isolation, identity shifts, and also practical strategies. So today with me is Dr. Mayuri Kachnaz-Shawale,
Yes.
who is recently graduated from her PhD from Czech Republic of Life Sciences in Prague. She experienced different systems, different cultures, being someone coming from India, but you will hear how similar it is for all international students across borders. Mayuri, could you please tell us more about yourself?
Yes. Thanks, Naomi, first of all, for having me
No.
so that I can share my experience. So I went to Czech Republic in Prague, the capital city. It was, I think, March 2021, and it was COVID time. So uh, things were really difficult to travel then. So it was like I wasn't even sure that I could enter the country
Oh,
or I will be allowed. So I had to
yeah.
show my certificates that I'm COVID negative, I'm allowed to travel, and they had just opened the borders. Previously, that there was a travel ban, right? I arrived there, and I don't know, it was my first time outside India.
Wow.
So it was my first international experience. So I had
Wow.
no idea what I was looking forward to. So I just went with two bags and I was like, okay, let's see what happens.
That is really interesting. You are such a bold person. COVID time
Yeah.
tension were up. So for you to just pack your stuff and then be ready to travel and it being your first time, girl,
Yeah.
you are bold. Well done. What shocked you the most when you arrived?
I mean, the whole travel, it was like my first time flight experience, which was several hours long. I had traveled like on flight before, but it was like 2 hours, 3 hours, and this was like 16 hours. So by the time I arrived at the passport control, I was like, oh, what they'll ask me. I don't know what kind of questions it will be. But it was overall smooth. They just asked me why I'm here, and everything was smooth overall. I was scared a lot because I had never seen the immigration counter and new faces. I was a bit anxious, but it was smooth. They asked me just why I'm here, and they were like, well, it's good time that you arrived now. You won't be stuck here. And as soon as I got outside the airport, it was super cold. It was like beginning of spring. So for Europeans, it's not that cold. It's actually very pleasant for them. But for me, it was super cold. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay. But I had some friends there, so they had prepared me that
Mm-hmm.
bring some jacket with you. It's going to be cold. So yeah, I had my layers and it was fine. But then I was also sad a bit because I was expecting, oh, it'll be snowing, and there was no snow then. I was like, where is the snow I have heard about? But there was no snow that day when I arrived. But yeah, and
Okay.
as soon as I arrived, I was supposed to stay in isolation. I was given a guest room where I was supposed to stay for the
Mm-hmm.
next 5 days, and I had a lot of things in my mind. So how I'm going to order food? Will they speak any English? Will I be able to get some food if I'm not able to leave my hotel room?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some friends from the campus. They just asked me when are you going to arrive, and they were so kind. They brought me food, some fruit supplies that if you need anything, just have this and let us know. So
That
it was
is
just quite
nice.
pleasant. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you got really good company, and it's always important to contact before you travel.
Yes. Yes,
So
definitely.
I'm glad you had people who were
Mhm.
ready and prepared for you. How long did the shock lasted before you got out of it?
I think it would be several months. I wouldn't say
Whoa.
that because the whole experience was very unfamiliar for me. It wasn't just culturally that it's different. There was a language barrier. People speak Czech over there, which
Yeah.
is quite different. I mean, you watch movies, you might have heard some French, some Spanish, but Czech is like very such a rare moment that you even know a word from Czech.
Yeah.
There was language barrier, but and then there was the COVID thing going on, so everything was restricted. You couldn't
Mm-hmm.
do things how normally are.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of questions in the beginning, and then I was staying at the dormitory, so I had to figure out my room. These were some silly things, but still you have to figure out. Where is the laundry room? When do you do the laundry? Okay, the machine, the instructions are in Czech, so I always need my translator on. And there's no internet in the basement, so you should take pictures, go up, translate, come back. So yeah, it was quite adventurous experience for me, I would say.
I can imagine. Wow.
Like even
That was
for
a lot.
grocery shopping, because we have shops there, but all the
Mm-hmm.
ingredients, the labels, everything is in Czech. So you are
Mm.
you are using the translator almost 24/7. So
Yeah.
it took me
Yeah.
a while, like several months, yeah, to get used to the cold and everything, the public transport over there.
Mm.
People were really helpful and supportive. So they were
Mm.
telling you things you need to know before. Like when I enrolled, they were like, okay, there is a public transport system here. Here is some brochure which would help you. You can
That's
ask.
nice.
Yeah, and there were some people who had arrived few months before me, so they were very
Mm-hmm.
new. So they
Mm-hmm.
helped me guide through so I
Mm-hmm.
could learn because
Yeah.
everything was very fresh in their mind, so they could help me. And then I
Yeah.
did the same for the newcomers. So it was
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. That is really interesting. And I mean, it's good that you were thinking about everything because I think that is what happens to us. Like, I don't know how far your campus was from where you were living, but sometimes you have to figure all those things out. And then if you have to go to school the next day, you have to roam. So it's good that you were trying to figure all things out, but obviously one day at a time. Exactly. We will dive deeper with the language barrier and all. So now I'm going to let us take it segment by segment because I know culture shock comes in so many different forms. I will go deeper into the academic differences, and over here I'm just going to give you some highlights of some topics and you tell us whether you were shocked by it and how it actually affected your transition. So, with academics, how was it different from your home country? So, I'm going to mention a few stuff and then you just let us know whether you were shocked by it or it was okay, it was something that you were familiar with. So, one is their teaching style. How was it different?
Well, it's quite different. The PhD program in India, I would say the entire structure is very different. Like for some PhD programs in India, you are supposed to take the coursework in the beginning of your first semester,
Mm-hmm.
and the teaching is classroom style, and then at
Yes.
the end of classes you do the exams or assignments, right? But here, since we have very few PhD students and the topics are vast, like my university is Czech University of Life Science, so we had several departments, right? We had
Mm-hmm.
anthropology, we had forest ecology, we had remote sensing, so they are quite diverse under the
Mm-hmm.
life science umbrella. The teaching program is quite different. It's individually tailored, I would say. If I'm supposed to take certain classes, I have to approach the professor and they'll ask me in this subject which topics are really going to help in my PhD program.
Wow.
They asked me, like, okay, you have statistics, but what kind of statistics would you like to learn which you can apply in your study? Otherwise,
Hmm.
I can learn N things, and at the end, they don't help me, right?
It
And then
wouldn't
I
be
have to
helpful.
exam. So
That
it's
is
also
very good.
overwhelming for the student, right? That you have to learn a lot and then just give exam with 5 questions. So it was quite nice and very
Hmm.
different from the Indian one.
Hmm.
So you approach the professor, they ask you which topics you want to learn. For example, if I had a subject called plant physiology,
Hmm.
and she asked me, the professor, that which subjects you want to study. So I said, since I work with insects, for me, the secondary metabolites are more interesting. So I don't want to study water transport in trees, for example. Because, okay, it's nice to know, but it's not going to help me as
It's
much.
not tailored to what you're
Yeah.
studying.
So she gave me certain topics, and then we decided some papers, some articles. And then she said, the more you want to discuss, the more we will discuss. And this is how it's going to be. There won't be any classroom. I'm not going to teach you anything. You will read those articles. We will discuss. If you will have some doubts, I can guide you through. And based on that, she was going to score my subject. So it was really nice.
Wow, that is such a whole different system over there. And I kind of like it because you are not studying everything. You are really tailored specifically to what you need to know, which is very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but initially I looked at it as a con because when you go to a classroom, that's a way of making friends. You are
That is,
going to know how many more PhD students are there in the same boat with you, and that's how you socialize, right? So I was like,
yeah,
I am just going alone. And then I was also anxious because when you study together, sometimes you feel more confident. And when you
yeah,
are having more one on one sessions with the professor, you feel anxious. But
that's true.
the professors are really cool. So I
Yeah.
never felt anxious around them. And I made friends eventually. But at the end of my PhD, I saw it like it was a big pro. But
Yeah, it is.
I was having mixed feelings.
Yeah, but I also understand where you're coming from that you make friends along when you are in a classroom system. Another question I was going to ask about the student professor dynamics. Was it I think you just mentioned that they are nice to approach, but was it easily to access them whenever you need them?
Yes, actually, this was another pro for having this kind of coursework structure because
Mm-hmm.
they check your calendar and their calendar, so you can fix days and times
Mm.
where both of you are available. And if you need more time, they always make time for you. So it was nice. The When you email a professor, at least in my case, most of the time I got a response within a week. So it was never like I never heard back. And they take it seriously. It's like they are busy, they are always having their students and everything, but they
Mm.
make time for you. So it worked really well in my case.
So it's more an independent kind of studying, but it's also
Yes.
directed by the professor.
If you are totally new to the topic, you might not know what would be useful for you at the end. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it happened like for some subjects, I was clueless that I don't know what is going to help me in my PhD.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, they gave me some basic topics which we could study. And then if it interests me, we can dive deeper.
Okay, that's really cool. And how about exam structure? Were you
So
like giving exams and then the grading expectations? How was that dynamics too?
actually, it was different for different topics. Like, we had one course which was ethics in scientific communication, where they
Hmm.
teach you about the plagiarism and normal ethics in science when you do research. So, for those classes, which were like you follow the rules and you take the exam, so we had like one class which is like
Hmm.
mandatory where they teach you this is how it's done and this is normal, and then you do an assignment like for
Hmm.
that kind of course. We were supposed to find research papers which were retracted, for example, and justify why it was not ethically correct. So you kind
Okay.
of get the gist of it. But
Hmm.
for topics like plant physiology or insect, we were given some assignments based on some of them were conceptual, but then in some they give you case and then you solve it and they see how your thinking is, like how you are
More
independently to.
critical thinking, kind of.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Like, for
Okay.
example, for statistics, I was given, like, okay, you have such a situation, you have this kind of data set, how would you go about analyzing it? And so sometimes it was one on one oral exam, sometimes it was assignment. It really depends on professor, how much time they have for you.
That is really nice. And how was the communication like? Because I think you mentioned they speak Czech, right?
Yes.
So how was it like? Were they formally teaching with English or you had to learn a new language altogether?
Well, I was in Prague. Since it's capital, most of people are aware and they speak very well English. But
Okay.
let's say the English they speak in Czech is very different than the English we speak here in US, for example, or in India. So we use more simple terms where both of us can understand each other because we don't have the native language as English. So sometimes it is super smooth because it depends on the professor, right? If they have had that kind of experience, they speak English. So most of the times it was quite smooth. I think the more problems came in administration. But if you write them emails, it's smoother because they can translate, reply you
Oh,
back.
yeah. Yeah.
So it really depended. With professors, I would say I never had any problem
Okay.
communicating in English. It was quite smooth. But yeah, for like I said, in some administration section or library section, it was always better that I don't speak to them, but I write them an email so they understand me better and they can take their time to respond to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
That's
worked.
good. You definitely always have to have your phone with you.
Yes, that's a plus.
Okay.
Even if you are speaking in English, which is not really understandable, or if they are telling you something which you don't follow, they are very patient. They are like, okay, let's try to understand each other, which I really appreciated. Like
Yeah.
on both of our sides, none of us got really frustrated that we don't understand each other. We tried efforts and we tried to understand each other all the time. So that was like they were very patient, I would say,
That is
which you
really
don't see so
nice.
often. Like people think it's waste
Yeah.
of time.
People can easily get irritated if we are not getting each other. So I'm glad that it worked out well for you. How did you adjust your study habits since you said it was more like an independent kind of studies compared to being in India?
Yeah, so in India, it was always like we had deadlines. So somebody is pressuring you that you have to meet the deadline and work. But here in Czech Republic, at least, what I saw is people treat you as an independent adult, that you understand what you have to do and you need to work on your own time. But at the same time, we had like weekly progress meetings or monthly meetings where we at least know that we are making progress. So I had to make myself a plan what I'm doing this week and next week, which I was not used to. I was used to being told, okay, this week you are doing this, and that's how it'll go, right? It
Yeah.
gave me like it's nice to be independent, and I also got the flexibility. But at the same time, I felt that pressure on me suddenly that I had to plan my things. But
Yeah.
it was a good learning experience. Yeah, I would say it made me much more confident that okay, someone is trusting me and I can do it myself. So it
Yeah.
made me plan things better on my time.
That is really good. And let's move a little away from the academic shocks and let's go into social. In general, what was the most shocking for you when it comes to social life in Prague?
Shocking. I wouldn't say shocking, but I would say it was very surprising for me. Not
Okay.
shock, but yeah, I mean, in Prague, we have 8 months of winter with very less sun. So that was one thing that
Mm.
I thought, okay, it'll be cold, but like in India also we have winter, but we have sun. So I was
Mm.
expecting there'll be some sun exposure.
Yeah.
And it's like at 4 p.m. everything is dark, sudden, and then you are thinking why I'm working in the basement of lab when it is so dark. Like it's just 4 p.m., but it feels like it's midnight. Sometimes it's very depressing, I would say, that to get used to this.
Yeah.
I was surprised how European families are different from Indian families. Like in India, everyone is always involved. The families are really close. We have very
Mm-hmm.
strong, close bonding. So they are involved in everything. Like even if you buy, I don't know, a piece of furniture, you would ask everyone. And in Europe, they are very independent from very young age, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see how parents trust their kids from such a young age and they let them explore and do their own things.
Yeah.
So, for example, even dating after you turn 16, it's not so common in India, but for me, it was like,
Neither
oh.
it is in Ghana.
So there were some shocks but I wouldn't say really shocking. Like, we watch movies, so you kind of have seen. So it's not something you're seeing for the first time, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's different. Like when you when I used to talk to my colleagues like about arranged marriages in India, they were like, "Really? And how does that work out?" So it's shocking for them, you know. So
Yeah.
it was a nice exchange of information, I would say, which
Mm-hmm.
got me to understand how different cultures are outside the borders,
Yeah.
and I had never done that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was something interesting for me. And people balance their work life very nicely, like their
Mm.
personal life, work, vacations, and that was also something. Maybe it was a shock for me. Like, people work for 8 hours, not more, not less. They work for
Mm.
8 hours. Nobody works on weekends, which was shocking for me, I would say. Like, even if your experiment is super important, no, your weekends are for your family, for your own things. It helps you refresh to work for the next week. So,
Mm.
yeah, it's quite different. I would
Yeah.
say. Like, there would
That's
be many things, but right now these are on top of my mind.
Oh yeah, definitely. When you remember anything, you can just chip it in. But this is
Yeah.
very, yeah, it's such an eye opener. In some ways, there are similarities with Americans' culture, but I feel the Europeans are more free spirited, I guess, than in America. Yeah, so that's really cool. Did you ever experience any social isolation or anything?
I would say during holidays, especially during holidays, because here in Europe also and in US, those holidays are quite long. So people use those holidays to be with their family or
Mm.
plan a family trip together. And if you don't have your family where you're studying, then it's quite difficult because, okay, you have friends all around you all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
then they are suddenly away for those 10 days and it's super cold, super dark. So you can't really go out in the evening and just chill somewhere. So yeah, it gets depressing around holidays. But since my university had a lot of international students, there were a lot of
Mm.
people like me. So we
Okay.
made our own small family and we made our own traditions. So we used to hang out around holidays because we know
That's
all of
nice.
us are going to be here. So yeah, it helped. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't say I was isolated for a really long time, maybe a
Mm.
day. But then you kind of make amends with it. You see, you have to be there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you just call your family, tell them you miss them, and
Now you get used to it, and it's like, yeah, it's
you
just
get
how to
used to
live
it.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there moments that you felt like you don't belong here?
No, not really.
Oh,
Actually, people, they looked at me as very brave and bold that
mm-hmm.
I moved abroad on my own to
Mm-hmm.
study away
Mm-hmm.
from family. So they look at you as it's a very different kind of respect, which I would say was very new to me. People really respect you that you chose to move away so far from your family to study further. Okay, that's big. And
Yeah.
it really felt nice actually. That
That's really
okay,
nice.
it made me more confident and it made me feel okay, I am capable of doing big things. And somehow I wasn't never made aware of it that, oh, it's a really big thing you did, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's really cool.
and I got very lucky. I had very nice people around me, and
Mm-hmm.
they kept always cheering me on. Like, even my supervisor was super nice. On some days when the experiment didn't work and I was sad, I was like, "Oh, I'm not able to get this." And they were like, maybe you should take break for today's evening, start afresh tomorrow, and you'll get it. It
Oh,
doesn't have to work all the time, you know. And that was shocking for me because I haven't seen such teachers in my life who will be like, it's okay to like give up for today and start tomorrow, you know, not
yeah.
like try for the whole night and you have to get it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of sweet. I mean, it's not always said, but it's this unsaid pressure you feel around you that you have to constantly prove you're good, you're capable.
Exactly.
That was not the case in Europe. They look at you as you are the best in your field, you know. You get respect for that, and it's
And you kind
really
of,
nice to get that feeling. It's like,
yeah.
no, you're being generous, you know so much, and you don't give yourself enough credit for it. Yeah, I
Mm.
think I was lucky to have nice people around.
Yeah, and actually it boosts your confidence, like you're saying. It makes you start to think you are capable of doing so many things than like being told to do stuff. I mean, being matured is also being independent. So I think it's a really good training over there. And I think it's very similar to the US. When I came, I only went to see my supervisor when we had our weekly meetings. Once we discussed the topic or the project that I wanted to do, I had to come up with everything. People giving you the freedom to do stuff is such a good start, especially for a PhD student to build confidence. So I really appreciate that too as well. Now let's take some identity reflections. Did living abroad change how you see yourself in any way?
Definitely. I think
Mhm.
I never saw this side of me in India, which I saw in Europe, that
Yeah.
I was able to talk to people who don't share the same language as me, bond with them, make friends from all over the world, share their
Hmm.
culture, cuisine, and to be able to work independently where people trust me with millions of euros worth instrument.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nobody says, oh, you have to go to this training, to be able to do this. So they trust you, they respect you. So definitely, I think I became more confident, more independent, and more social, I would say. I have always been introvert since school. I always
Mm.
had a hard time having friends, but now I think I can go over to a random person and just talk, for hours. I can start that conversation now. So
Hmm.
I think it really changed me. I was able to travel solo and then see
That's cool.
places which I never thought I saw, like I will be able to see.
Hmm.
Yeah, it really changed me. I
That's
think
really
I
nice.
met a very new version of me, which was a very nice version of me.
And I hope you keep it though. Yeah. Did you ever feel like pressured to assimilate or stay true to yourself at any point? Like when friends are doing certain things that is very new to you, are you like kind of pressured to also do it, or you stay true to yourself?
I think no, yeah, I did stay true to myself. I did try several new things, but not out of pressure because I wanted to. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Good.
wouldn't say because that's the one thing people look into you when they make friends. And
Mm-hmm.
if you can't be true to yourself, I think it's difficult for others also to see that in you, right?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that way you can make some really like long lasting friends, I would say. They would be
Exactly.
just temporary, you would have fun and you would move on. So,
Yeah, I really like that point because I mean, you can always you cannot hide from anyone. At some point your true self will come out. So there is no
yeah.
need trying to hide away your personality or whatever it is. So I'm glad you stay true to yourself. What part of your identity do you think that it has become stronger because you experienced this?
I think my creativity got really boosted
Hmm,
by being
that's
people
good.
around me, having those people around me. If it was all me and somebody said me, okay, you have to write this 5-page proposal, I would have been scared and I don't know what I would have been doing. I would have been
Mm-hmm.
super scared. But now, if someone tells me, I think I can tell them, okay, I can do this and I can do this in this time, I won't be
Mm.
saying, I'm not sure that I cannot do this. So I think that changed. That now I never say I don't know or I don't think I can do it. Now I think I am the other person. I can
Liz.
say that,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to give it a try and I think I can do it.
I
So
love that. I
yeah,
truly, truly love
I
that.
think that really that's the biggest change I would say.
Absolutely.
I also learned to say no sometimes. So I think, yeah, I haven't done that in India for a long time. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's bad to say no. But now I really learned that after being in Europe, you can say no, and it's okay to say no, that people don't mind. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think these, apart from being confident, independent, being able to travel solo, I think these some things are like really precious, which I learned there. Like, as a person.
Yeah, I truly love everything that you're saying, actually. I really hope people are having the same or similar experiences as you're saying. Living abroad
Mhm.
often forces people to redefine themselves. So I'm glad, I mean, which is not a bad thing if you have to, but I hope you never change yourself just to make others.
I mean, if it makes you a better version of yourself, go for it.
Exactly. Exactly.
But if you have to hide your qualities to just be part of that group, I wouldn't say, yeah, it's then you would just make friends for time being, and when you
Mm-hmm.
move from there, people are going to forget you because maybe you weren't
You
so
never
honest.
you never made an impact. Well, we're going to the last segment, which is going to be coping, growth, and adjustment. So what helped you to adjust over time?
I think my friends over there
Mm.
were a big part of that because we used to have these coffee sessions after lunch where we
Mm.
would meet up in a coffee room just for half an hour, and everyone, like, we did, all of us were not in the same field, so we were like slightly different. We were in life sciences, but we had different our field of interest, right? So we
Mm.
used to sit there, talk about our problems, or if we were feeling lonely, make some plans. And they, like, all of us were there for each other, like if I was stuck in some statistical problem, they were like, oh, I know this guy, he can help you, or I know this professor, you should approach. All of us were helping each other grow. That was
Mm.
really nice, and it kept me going. I used to look
Yeah.
forward to going to lab every day because I'll have my work and then I'll have my coffee session. And it was the same in our lab group. We used to have
Mm.
these coffee sessions once in a month where all of the lab members would discuss. We would look at each other's progress, and we would also
Mm.
share some personal things. So it was really nice. So it kept me going. And
Mm.
another thing was, yeah, I think I'm the first in my family to move abroad. So
Wow.
yeah, it also kept me motivated that I can do this. I have come this far, and
Mm-hmm.
it is going to be really good learning experience for me. So yeah, I should make the most out of it. So
Yeah.
it kept me going. Also, I think having a routine helps, that you plan your day well. So you
Mm-hmm.
have your lab time, your time
Mm-hmm.
with family, calls and friends, and then
Mm-hmm.
you do something together with friends on weekend, so it helps you recharge and then be motivated for the next week
Motivate.
and next week.
Exactly.
So, yeah, if you have the plan that okay, this week these tasks are going to be done, I think you, as you see your own progress, you feel motivated to go forward and
Yeah.
finish your study.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
awesome. I really love it. So for I think you went through everything that I was about to ask you. So it's
I
it's
think one
it's
culture shock was, yeah, I just remembered about another culture shock. When I
okay.
was in Sweden for my internship, they have this sauna culture, right? They go for
Hmm.
spas because it's really helps you relax and everything.
Hmm.
And then people are without clothes. And I have never seen that, right? So I wasn't really comfortable there. Nobody stares at you, nobody looks at you. People are like just doing their own thing, and they just mind their own business. Yeah, it was, I think it is shocking, and I don't think I can really assimilate with them in this matter. I think I
Yeah.
am still very conservative, and yeah, I don't feel comfortable. So, but yeah, I was surprised to see how people are so comfortable with their own body, and people don't say things like, oh, you have gained weight or you have lost weight. So
Mm.
it's very different from India, what I have seen. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, sometimes in India people mean it as a compliment, but it's weird to
It
hear
comes
it.
across really different.
Yeah, and being abroad, nobody really cares how you are dressing up or what you are doing with the, like,
Mm-hmm.
outside of your work, and they don't poke their noses in your business basically, and which is so nice. Like, they are so genuine. If you are sharing, it's okay, but nobody ever asks you personal question, and I really like that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was worth noting. So, yeah, it's very good. What advice would you give to someone who just arrived yesterday to a different country?
Well, I would say it's okay to be anxious. It's okay to be scared. It can be very overwhelming in the beginning, but yeah, if you take one day at a time, you can make it. So I would say, yeah. And I think the very important advice I would give is don't isolate yourself. Even if you feel scared to approach that person and just say hi, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it like a dare, and you never know, you'll make such nice friends and you will have your own small community around, right? So
Yeah.
don't be scared. Take that step forward, have that coffee with that person, say hi, and you are going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I would say choose your friends very wisely. Those friend circle is going to keep you motivated throughout your study. So it's really nice to choose your circle accordingly.
Yeah.
And I think last I would say work is not everything. So try to, if you are new to that country or to that place, make time to work, but also take breaks, see the places around and travel as much as you can because it really adds up to your personal experience.
Yeah.
It's important to do a little of everything.
Yeah, yeah. We are there to study, but it's good to also know your surroundings. So you're already there, so you must as well take advantage of it to experience it. If it is not going to cost you much or go into your
No, I
budget or
mean in Europe,
savings.
if you are students, if you are student, you have student discounts everywhere. You go to museum, you go to things. You have
Oh.
they give you something called international student card, which allows you to get discounts even for example, train pass or if you
Hmm.
just go to a museum or to a place, there are several student discounts. So just take advantage of it and travel.
Wow.
Why not?
With that, I would definitely say take advantage of it because I am someone who loves to travel. I would have probably explored the whole of Europe. So I'm
I mean,
very,
when you finish your study, you should have a story, right? That you
oh,
really
yeah.
worked hard on your
Yeah.
topic, but
Yeah.
you also saw places around, so it's a whole experience.
Yeah, even in the US, I think I traveled to like 25 states whilst I was a student. So
Nice.
I love to explore. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you so much, Mayuri, for joining us today and sharing your experiences. And congrats too for graduating
Thank
last
you.
year, I
Well,
guess.
thank you for having me. It was
Yeah,
nice to be able to share my experience. I don't know how useful it would be, but yeah, it was
it definitely will
fun
be.
to speak about it and remember
Yeah,
the old times. Yeah, now I kind of
yeah.
miss Prague a bit.
No. Well, culture shock doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. It just means that you're growing and adapting. Whether in Europe, US, or anywhere else, the confusion, loneliness, and adjustment are part of the process. Share this episode with someone who just arrived somewhere new. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Thank you once again, Mayuri, and I hope you
Thank you.
have a wonderful day.